We are ready to go. All right. So today's live, you can see right there is 7 steps for weight loss, and we could use it. You could use it as a checklist essentially to see what you or aren't doing and need to start doing if you're not to achieve your weight loss goals. So as always, we greet you and ask you to let us know where you're watching from. So if you're not too shy, put your name in the chat so we can greet you and let us know where you're watching from. Right. So I am in North Carolina, and my beautiful wife is watching all the way from Portugal. All right. The weather is great. I think actually we were both having good weather, right, Carmen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly for a while there, but now it's starting to. Well, I'm sure it's going to get uglier soon as fall and winter approaches. But we're enjoying the weather. So yeah, if you're not too shy, let us know where you're watching from so we can greet you and who you are. We broadcast this live show on different platforms, so I know not everybody can see everyone's comments, but Carmi and I can see yours, right? So the topic right there is 7 steps for weight loss. Carmi, if you're getting to look at the YouTube and Facebook platform.
I think so.
Okay, it's looking good there. All right, awesome. So, of course, as always, if you have questions, let us know. I want to start off by showing some pictures, some before and after. Everyone loves before and after, and well, Carmi laughs because she never likes her picture, no matter what.
Whatever.
But I like my picture. I like her picture too. And
Oh,
we're gonna show some before and afters of our weight loss journey, and then of course, if you guys want to let us know about your weight loss success so far, where or struggles, definitely let us know. But this one I think is going to be very very helpful for all of us to walk through. Jaretta, thanks for tuning in. All right, a faithful viewer, um, and all you guys are else who are watching. Welcome. So let's go ahead and I think Carmen, we should start with the before and after picture, right?
you the
Why
boss.
why am I asking you? All right, so this before and after picture as it loads up is Carme's success, losing 75 pounds, right? If I'm doing the math right, over time. And
Over a long time.
yeah, but your a lot of your muscle toning, right, has been of late, right? And so
Hmm.
there's a different we have a lot of pictures in between these two pictures, right, showing your transition to this right here. When did you take this picture?
Which one?
The most recent one
Last week.
last week. Yeah. So yeah, this is very recent. Um, you can see your muscles, and that's what I love about the process that we teach, Carme, because it's not just about losing a weight, but building lean muscle. Lean
Yeah.
muscle is a muscle that carries little fat, right? That's what reverses chronic diseases. That's how you come off medications. That's how you become more sensitive to carbs. Okay, so you could eat healthy without gaining weight. If you're in this approach, these 7 steps actually, Karma, can even work to help you gain weight, right? If you're on the thinner side, you're skinny and
Mhm.
you're looking to gain weight. And that's why I love God's method. God's way is the best way because it works for everyone and it's all one package deal. It's not like one diet and one lifestyle works for one person and doesn't work for another. When you follow these steps, they work for everybody, right? So that's your success there. And I guess I'll show my my before and after. I think it's about 43-pound loss. Most of that gain was my master's program, the stressful days of postgraduate education, and daily chips and soda, right? But was able to melt that down with some of the steps that we're giving you today. All right. Antoinette said, "Wow, awesome progress, Carme." All right. Good, good. All right. So that's our before. That's our before and after there, just to show you some of our progress. And hopefully inspire you, encourage you to do the same. So as you go quickly, I think it's going to be pretty quick, Carmen. I know 7 steps sounds like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but they're very simple. And like I said, I think it's a good way to be able to say, well, if I'm stalling in my progress, you could literally look at these 7 steps and say, what can I improve on? And I want to challenge that every one of us, if we do these things to the extreme or as much as possible, you cannot not lose weight. You're going to lose weight. All right. All right.
We have some comments.
Oh yeah, what's the comment there? Verona, yes. Good evening, Verona. So she wants to know how tall. Well, how tall are you, Carmen?
5'2".
5'2".
Very
And
tall.
you're 5'2". She's a whole 5'2". Yes, and I am 6'2". Some say I'm a little taller, maybe by a quarter of an inch, but 6'2". Every time I step on or measure, take my measurement. So yeah, 6'2", 5'2". But that's a good question too, Verona. I'm glad you mentioned the height because we did do a video not too long ago talking about how to tell if you're overweight because the BMI, just trash that. It's not helpful. It doesn't really measure your muscle toning. So if you even go back to these pictures here, um, Carmi and I, we learned to build lean muscle, right? So when you're building lean muscle mass, muscle weighs more than fat, right, Carmi? So
Mhm.
you can actually see that the scale sometimes doesn't move as fast as you think it should
Yeah,
be. But
that's for sure.
yeah, right. But what's changing, Carmi? What do you notice is changing?
Um, your fat is going down and your muscle is your body is reconstructing.
Yep. And weight
Yeah,
loss, your waist, right?
your waist.
Your
Yeah,
waist starts to slim down. Your pants start to fall off,
yeah,
right? Even though the scale doesn't show it so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
That's what's important to note. The way, and we had a video, you could find it on our YouTube page, about the waist to height circumference, right, as the best way to measure your ideal, body size, essentially, and whether or not you are on track as far as um, a healthy weight. Okay, weight that promotes longevity. Ideal by waist to height ratio is 0.5. But yeah, that's the goal, and we're all going to get there. All right. Um, so yeah, Audrey has a question here for Carmen. How did you lose that much? Well, that's what we're going through. The 7 steps.
I'm gonna make some comments in between when we hit points on things that I really did. Then I'll
Yes.
explain further.
Yeah. So let's start with the first one, right? And I'll go ahead, or Carmen, me. I don't know if you want to help me. I could probably do it quicker enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and put each step. I'll go ahead and put as a title so we can kind of follow. So number
Okay.
one is going to be move more. I mean, move all day actually no, more accurately. I like this. I like to put it this way because move more isn't tell you enough. But the concept is to move all day. So when you think about exercise, most people think about getting a gym membership, or maybe setting a certain time or during the week to go for a walk. Um, you know, we think about exercise as an isolated event. That's wrong,
Mhm.
right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a gym day, or a day to walk, a day to jog, a day to play tennis, a day, and call that exercise. But the problem is most of our day is spent sitting on our butts, right? And you cannot outwork that sedentary lifestyle that most of us are living. It's very, very hard to find yourself in a caloric deficit if day in and day out you're sitting in a car, driving to work, then going to work, sitting in a desk for 7, 8 hours, then going home and sitting down to eat and whatever, going watching TV, and then boom, it's time to work out for 30 minutes or an hour, and then you think you're going to burn all that. No. So the key is really simple, and I'm probably going to spend the most time talking about this, Carme, but I think it's ask yourself every single hour of the day, how can I move more?
Mhm.
Okay. For me, I have a very sedentary job, so I find myself sitting on my job. I work like 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours. So like, I could be literally sitting down, but I find myself getting up every hour, even if it's just walking to the copy machine and back, or walking around my office. Sometimes I'm doing squats. People might find me doing push-ups. Like I'm always thinking to myself, every hour I gotta get out of the chair. So something simple like that, get out of the chair. Another advice I give is parking in the furthest parking spot when I'm going to the store, instead of starting to find the closest parking spot. You know, taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Every activity you should be asking yourself, how can I make this more, add steps? So Carmi, you like to count steps, right? That's one thing you do, right? I don't know if we have anyone else that does those, like the step counters. That's a really nice way to motivate you to move all day. Because if you have, what do you use? Use an app on your phone?
Yeah, it's just an app that came with the phone. But
Mhm.
yeah, I just like to see how many steps, how many steps more I walked on a certain day. I don't really have a goal for every
Okay.
day,
Okay.
but I know that some days I just don't use the car. If you plan your day good and you're living in the city, you can walk everywhere. Like on Sundays, I walk to the gym, and it's 18 minutes one way. So, but I have the time. I don't need to rush. So I just
Mhm.
walk.
Yeah, it requires planning for
Yeah,
sure, planning ahead. What's the most steps you've had in a day? Counting
13,000.
13,000. And can anyone beat that? I want to know. Is anyone counting steps that's had more than 13,000 steps in a day? Yeah, that's a
Well,
challenge.
if you don't live in a city, it's really hard.
Yeah,
I don't think I would have ever had 13,000 before
yeah. I'm
moving
still
here,
curious to see if any of the viewers are counting steps.
hmm
What's your highest date? Yeah, let us know in the chat what your highest step count is, and that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, that's an important step right there. Number one, move all day, um, because it's not about just getting into the gym or working out, walking.
During your lunch breaks too, you can just walk.
Hmm.
hmm
Yeah. So the second one. All right, moving on to the second one is going to be adding new foods on a weekly basis, right? Um, Now I know this one sounds kind of counterintuitive
You
because you're thinking,
change you change the title. It says "Move All Day."
I don't know, there's probably a delay on your end.
Uh, oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, you could look on your phone on YouTube real quick. But add new foods weekly. What
Yeah.
does that mean? You know, you want to make sure that you're not getting bored with your food. A lot of times people quit on their healthy eating because they kind of get bored of eating the same things. All right. So if you're adding new foods, you're actually making sure you're keeping a variety. Another thing is most people focus on limiting their consumption. Diets usually are very restrictive. When you think of people dieting, they're trying to limit how much they eat. But the way we teach, we actually teach you to eat more food. Carmen, speak on that. Like when you started eating a whole food plant-based diet, were you eating more or less than when you were on previous diets? And while you do that, I'm gonna close my door here. So yeah.
Okay. Um, on a whole food plant-based diet, I can eat more, and sometimes it's just like I use the Lose It app, and I'm putting in the food in the Lose It app, and I'm like, that's only 10 calories. I can put more on my plate, and then I end up piling my plate so high and then can't eat not even half of it. So you
Yeah.
can eat a whole lot more when you do whole food plant-based.
Well, they should watch your video on YouTube, what my wife eats in a day. Yeah, you'll be
Yeah.
surprised. Little 5'2" lady can eat. But
But I,
so
I was fasting for 23 hours.
you were
So
fasting, so you were quite hungry.
yeah,
Tracy beat you though, I think, on the steps. Tracy Brown got 21,000.
21,000. Yeah. That's
Impressive.
a lot of walking.
Yeah, that's a lot of walking. But yeah, get you a step counter. It's very motivating. But this step two is really important because yeah, when I say add new foods, preferably whole foods, right, Carmen? Foods in the
hmm
produce aisle. You might find there's so many fruits, there's so many vegetables that you probably never tried before that
hmm
you might love. Be surprised that you love. There's so many different categories of legumes, of whole grains, spices and nuts. that you probably have never tried before. So why limit yourself, right? So I would make it a chore that every week I'm going to add a new food I've never tasted before, or maybe I've never had often, that I could add to my regimen to keep things fresh, keep things new. And also make sure that you're always going to have more go-to meals so that you are less likely to cheat, right? So if you don't have a lot of foods options, you're going to end up messing up probably. Um, or more likely, not always, but I keep things pretty simple. But yeah, I always like to pick up something new every week. So I don't know if we have any questions on that. If not, let's go to the next um, third one, and that's going to be actually very closely related to adding new foods, and that's making sure that the meals you prepare are fiber centered. So fiber centered meals are really important. Okay. Um, Yeah. So Audrey has a question here. What about the fat in nuts? Um, so yeah, we talk about low fat, whole plant based diet. That's our main method, our message. All right, to make sure it does allow very small amounts, but you can eat nuts. Nuts are very nutritious. They are high in fiber. They are a fattier plant food, so you don't want to overdo it, but you have to consider if you're not limiting your meals, right? Especially if you're making sure you're including a lot of whole grains, a lot of greens, a lot of fruits. Those high carb components of your day are going to drive down the fat percentage. Okay. So you want to make sure the majority of your food, yes, is complex carbs. It's going to allow for some nuts, and
Yeah.
nuts are, yeah,
And then the
right.
Lose It app it really helps because as you're preparing your foods and you want to eat like a half a cup of nuts, and you realize, oh no, I can't have a half a cup, I can have a quarter cup.
Yeah.
So using the app is a real good guide to show you where you at.
Your fat percent, yeah. So you can
Yeah.
keep that 10 to 15% goal we recommend. But fiber centered meals, right? The closer you get, and studies show the closer you get to 100% whole food plant based, the more you're going to see benefits for your health, including weight loss. But it's not all or nothing. So studies show that even if it's just 80% of your diet, right? If you can look at your plate, the point is you want to look at your plate and see that the vast majority of what's on your plate is fiber, right? And you know what? You know where fiber comes from, Carme, right? Plants. That's
Mhm.
that's that's really simple. It's that simple. The ones that the foods that are richest in fiber is going to be your whole grains, right? That's why people can lose a lot of weight just on oatmeal diets, right? Um, and legumes, your legume, whole grains legumes are going to be the richest in fiber, but all plants have fiber. So you should look at your plate and see that at least 75, I would say 80% of your plate is a whole plant-based food. Okay. This is probably one of the most important. Would you agree?
And we have a question here.
Yeah. What's the question here? I'm going to enter the next
Okay,
topic.
so Carmen, how long did it take to get to your current weight? How long have you maintained the weight loss? Um, I don't know. That's a big question.
Yeah,
So
that's all.
okay, the first weight loss I had after my before picture, it took me 4 months. But then we did the raw food diet, and I lost 50 pounds in 4 months.
Mm,
Um, and as time went on with the whole, I did keto for 4 years, and then now I'm on a whole food plant-based diet. I have seen my weight go down. I don't have any issue with my weight going up anymore, but it's going down. So as I took things out of my diet, I saw more weight loss. So when you just change your diet, you're trying to hold on to stuff, like the zero calorie drinks,
yeah.
the sweeteners, the stevia, all those things. And when I took all of that out of my diet, that is when I saw um, the biggest drop in my diet. I know we have a video of you interviewing me, Louis, and man,
Yeah.
it was so big on that video when I look back at it. And
You
I
weren't
used,
that big, but
huh?
yeah. I mean, but that highlights that you have steadily lost weight all throughout.
Yes, and
Yeah.
after that video, that's when I took out all the 0 calorie drinks and the sweeteners out of my diet, and then that's when I saw the biggest drop.
Yeah.
And so from the last year when I moved here, I weighed 145. So I lost 10 pounds in 1 year. But not even really looking at the scale, But all I know is that I had to get new clothes and get rid of, the bigger clothes. And every few months, I noticed that my clothes are getting bigger and bigger
Mhm.
just by keeping to my diet and moving more, exercising.
Yeah.
So I've,
Absolutely.
I've maintained the weight loss and still losing. I guess I lose when I reach my ideal weight. I'll stop.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And so this one's pretty important. I think we neglect it a lot is weighing yourself regularly. I know a lot of us are scared, have anxiety on the scale, or we over stress this, but don't give the scale too much power. It's just the power of accountability, right? Being able to make sure that you're staying on track, just knowing you have to step on a scale this week, um, you're more likely to make decisions throughout the week, right, that are going to keep you on track. If you're just walking blind, a lot of us are going blind. We're not looking at our scale. We don't. Someone asks us how much you weigh. You have no clue how much you weigh right now, right? You have no clue how far or how close you are to your weight goal, and that shouldn't be. Um, so I do challenge you, if you're not doing it, to start doing it, even if you're, as Joyce Meyer says, do it afraid. Do
I
it.
need
Don't
to
wait.
get a scale.
Yeah, get a scale, number one.
Yeah.
And then keep it in your room, keep it in your bathroom, and just eventually the anxiety does go away. You get into a habit of knowing what your weight is, to keep you to keep you accountable and keep you on track, keep you honest with yourself, right? It's about keeping honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. So yeah, so we're moving pretty quickly. That is number four, weighing every day. I know. Do a lot of you guys have anxiety about weighing yourself? I know I do usually see that comment a lot online whenever I mention weighing yourself. A lot of people have anxiety about it, but I do challenge everybody to give it a try and just treat yourself with grace. Treat yourself with grace. But that is definitely one of the things I have to put on this list, because I don't know if we mentioned this, Carme, or if we talked about this, but the most successful weight loss program in America, I can't remember the name of it, but they're so successful that, like, I think everyone who goes through the program, they lose tremendous amount of weight. And one of the things they say is that they attribute it to keeping accountability when it comes to your weight. That making sure you know what your weight is, and weighing yourself regularly is a big part of it. Um, Step number five. All right, so we got three more.
We
Step
have
number.
some comments.
Okay, you want to read those off?
Yeah. Tracy says, I love raw diet. It has amazing results on how you feel. It
Mm-hmm.
really does.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
then Verona, no, I don't. Only the accuracy of the scale.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, having accuracy. Yeah. So a lot of times the weight scales off, and the important thing is not to get so caught up on the number, like, oh no, my scale, my note, the scale went up today. It's not really about what the scale says. It's just the fact that you're going through the motion of keeping yourself accountable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Keeping yourself accountable. So yeah, if you have anxiety about it, stress about it, I still encourage it. Like all things, you may be afraid and skeptical about that step, but give it a try. Water is all you need. Well, what about that one, Carmen? You just mentioned it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all want to flavor up our drinks with stevia or monk fruit or these alternative sweeteners. Some of us, or I should say most of us are doing worse than that. We're going for the straight sugar.
Yeah.
How many of us non-athletes are drinking Gatorade like we work for the NFL? Like you really need to replenish those electrolytes. um,
I
Yeah,
guess it for me it was like changing your diet is hard, and you're accustomed, you used to drink soft drinks and so on, so you're trying to find something that feels familiar,
true,
you
true.
know, and not until you do some more research or you're not seeing any results in your weight, then you say, oh no, something have to change, let me try this, you're desperate to try something. And yeah, when you get to that point, then you start to take everything out and stick with water.
Stick with water. Yeah, I know for you, right? You had plateaued for a while, and then once you
Yeah.
started just drinking water, then you started dropping weight
Yeah.
again. Yeah, so there's something to these additives that actually messes up our microbiome, and it affects our weight loss whenever you're having these alternative sweeteners or drinks. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if oh yeah, some Audrey says she hates water. I know. Well, tea is if you don't like water, then you can drink tea. I actually, if you're gonna flavor your water with anything, tea is good. So you may want to find a tea that you like.
Mhm.
Another thing too is that you can remember that you can drink your water. Okay, so
You can
eating a lot,
drink your water,
get your water from Whole Foods,
or
right?
you can
So
eat your
yeah,
water.
eat your water. Sorry, you could
Yes.
drink water. Yeah, of course you're drinking water. Eat your water. So making sure your majority, going back to the 80%, at least, making sure most of your meals are whole foods. Whole foods are full of water. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're gonna saturate yourself and get your water requirement by eating a lot of whole
Yeah.
food. Another trick is some people put fruits in their water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, flavor your water with fruit. If you have a favorite fruit, some melon or berry, throw that in your water. Flavor up your water with natural fruit.
Yeah.
But like Carme said, it does take time if you need to wean yourself off of those sugary beverages.
Mm-hmm.
Treat yourself with grace, right? But have a goal that you will eventually, stick with plain water or flavor your water with fruit. Okay. Eventually, those taste buds do change, and the
Mm-hmm.
things that you used to crave, you won't crave as much with time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you need support, we do have our coaching program. That's one of the key things we teach is how to come off those cravings. So definitely check the link for a consultation if you're interested in breaking those cravings. But yeah, thanks for your honesty there, Audrey. I think you're not alone. So number 6, we're almost done here, is one that I think is very effective, and one I'm sure all of us have actually heard about, and that's the eating window. So intermittent fasting, which is basically at a very minimum uh, restricting your eating window to 8 hours. Okay, you can do that once a week. You can do that every day of the week, a few times a week, however you want to do it. But this can be very effective in helping you reach your weight loss goals. I would say if you've done all 5, but and you're still stuck, this number 6 goal might be what pushes you over the hump, right? So you could fast for anywhere up to 16, from 16 to 24 or more hours, um, at least once a week or multiple times a week. And for a lot of people, that's when they start to see the weight loss. And there's several mechanisms of why that works. We're not going to go into, but autophagy, insulin sensitivity are two of the main methods why this works. And yeah, Carmen, you've had some success with this too, right? I think you do that. Have done that a lot. But I think your success mainly came from other things, like because
Yeah,
um,
I did fasting heavily, but I must say that still what you eat
was more important.
is very important, because you know how I used to have all them 0 calorie drinks
Yeah,
stacked up and fasting, 23 hours, between 20 and 24 hours fasting, and the results weren't there because of what I was putting into my body. It really makes a difference what you're eating
yeah,
to get the benefit from fasting.
yeah. That's true, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't replace. I think that's why if fasting is kind of in the last steps because we got to do the others first. Allison, hey, I don't think you've been on with us for a while. Thanks for watching. So she wrote, I just seen doctors today and they want to put me on more medicine. Shaking my head. I get that. I get your frustration because the sugar levels are still high and been high for 2 years now. Yeah. Hey,
Mhm.
so yeah, yeah, definitely get your frustration, man. It's tough. And diabetes is one of the reasons why we focus on diabetes is because it kind of crosses into the diet and lifestyle that reverses diabetes can reverse many other chronic diseases. But yeah, I want to just encourage you that you can turn things around, and following these 7 steps are going to help for sure. Okay, so follow these steps from the beginning, and you're going to see weight loss, but not more importantly, it's not really about the weight; it's about our health, right?
Mhm.
You're going to see that your sensitivity to sugar or carbs is going to go up, and your levels that are trapped in the blood, your blood sugar goes down, right? So that's what's nice about the low fat, whole food, plant based diet is because you get to eat more food. Who likes to eat food? I like to eat food. I don't like starvation diets. I don't like having to
No.
my intake. So low fat, whole food, plant based lifestyle, I call it, helps you to learn to eat more and weigh less, eat
Yeah.
more and see your sugars drop, right? So yeah, and then at the end of our show here, we'll share a link that I'm sure a lot of you have seen on getting access to what a breakdown is, what a whole food plant based diet looks like. Okay, so we'll give you that shortly. So last step, and this is one that we don't talk about a lot. Definitely hard to do for some of us. And that's our bedtime. Bedtime, man. Getting to bed early. That's going to be different for everybody. Some of us are working some very crazy hours and some very long, late shifts. But if you've done all 6, again, look at your bedtime. Are you
Mhm.
getting a minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night?
Mhm.
And are you getting to bed early? I would say no later than 9:30, 10 o'clock, because that's when there's 2 reasons why, really. Number one is because our body over time, I start over the day, becomes more insulin resistant. So whatever you eat late at night or later in the evening, it's harder for your body to actually metabolize and break down those carbs. So and also number two is a behavioral, late night snacking. Who knows about that? You're crazy.
You?
Yeah, I do. Stop telling on me. Your ability to make good food choices goes down late in the evening. A lot
Mm.
of us think we're doing great, and then the day goes by and you're doing so good, and then 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock rolls around, and you can't resist that ice cream in the fridge. Shouldn't be in the refrigerator to begin with,
No.
but somehow it's there. I don't know how it got there.
Yeah, how do you know?
Oh, Allison, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that much. But yeah, late night. If we're up late, you're gonna most likely be snacking. You're most likely not gonna be making good, healthy food choices. Also, being unrested the next day, you're setting yourself up for failure. So, put the gremlin to bed, is what I like to
And
say.
then
Put
the body repairs itself. I don't know if between the hours of 10 and 12 o'clock.
Mhm.
So I noticed weight loss too when I started going to bed early.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I really noticed a difference.
Yep. So that's it. That's the 7 steps, guys. Just if you run it back if you missed any. Oh yeah, Allison, yeah, absolutely. Fasting from 11 to 7 is good, right? I think it's good.
Mm.
And I think it's very doable. So I think that's a very reasonable fasting schedule. Yeah.
Mhm.
So for our freebie, and of course, leave questions in the comment section. We'll try to get to them. But for our freebie that we always try to give something out, it's a shopping list. So I guess a shopping list is the best way to call it, Carmen, right?
I don't know what it is. What it is?
It's just traffic. It's basically a
Oh,
traffic
the
light.
traffic light. Oh, yeah, a guide to show you what is real whole food plant based, or a variety,
Yes.
something that you can start with, I guess.
Yeah, so if you want to look at a map to look at, say, okay, a list, I should say, of different food items that
Yeah,
fall into a green, eat all the way, all without abundance, a yellow,
with
eat in
abundance.
moderation, and red, to limit or avoid. We'll give you that in this QR code. It'll be sent to your email. Um, I got a brain freeze. Yeah, what it comes down to is eat real food, mostly
Mhm.
that's it. Eat
Yeah.
real food, mostly plants. And that's and it's really that in a nutshell. And I love that because God's ways are simple, not complicated when you're doing it. When you're
Mhm.
using food as medicine, using his world, his name, this whole world is a food medicine, is a medicine cabinet. Let's take advantage of what God's given us, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Antoinette, you're very welcome. Beloved, I pray above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even